Tony Livesey
on BBC Radio 5 Live.
Well, we are, of course, past midnight, 12 o'clock, and we thought we'd take our inspiration from that number for tonight's Musicologies. Keep the number 12 in mind. And maybe this will help you decide for tonight's theme. Listen closely to the guitar sound. Well, that is Hotel California by the Eagles, and if you were listening closely, that rich, shimmering sound comes from a 12-string guitar, a sound that's shaped decades of music, and it is the star of tonight's show. This week's theme is songs that use 12-string guitars, and the man who's going to take us through it all is, as ever, Professor Joe Bennett, a.k.a. Dr. Beat. And I do appreciate people joining us all the time. If it is the first time, Professor Joe Bennett is from the Berklee College of Music in Boston. He joins us every week from his studio with a different musical theme to explore. When he's not teaching, he's the man that helps decide famous court cases where one artist is suing another for alleged breaches of copyright. There's not a single thing about music he doesn't know, and I love these little odysseys because even if the songs are familiar, we're learning something new about them. And Joe's here now. Joe, good evening, hello, good morning, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you very much. Good to be here, Tony.
The 12-string guitar, Joe. We'll go through what its relation to music is. What's your relationship with it? Are you a fan?
Yeah, I have a 12-string. I actually bought my 12-string for £100 in an auction in Bristol in 1997. So I've got this beat-up old 12-string that I'll play a little bit on the show tonight. So I kind of love it, but the 12-string guitar is physically quite a difficult instrument to play. So I don't play it very often because, frankly, it hurts your fingers.
Yeah.
So,
I
do, yeah.
On a really basic level, you've just got more strings to deal with. The movements have to be quicker, do they? And you've got to be more agile. I don't know. How do you simplify it?
Yeah, well, you basically have to press harder. So let me demo here. The guitar, 12-string guitar is actually 6 groups of 2. And so if I just tune a regular guitar and then strum a chord on an ordinary 6-string, it sounds like this. There's the E, the A, the D, G, B, and E.
Yeah.
And there's a chord of E minor. So if I now just switch to a 12-string guitar, and you'll hear that each string is doubled. It's got a sort of a bigger sound. So here's the same thing on a 12-string. And so there's your E minor chord at the end. And that's because if I actually pick them apart and play each string very delicately separately, you'll hear they're doubled. So here's the first E in octaves, and then the A, then the D, and then the G, and then the doubled B, and the doubled E. So it's basically what it means is when you're fretting one string, you're actually fretting 2 strings with one finger at a time, which is why it's physically quite hard to play.
It does sound a lot richer. So look, without any more ado then, we're going to get to the music shortly. Before that, we've got the quiz as ever. So presumably, how many songs tonight? 6? 12-string guitar songs?
We're going to do 5 tonight, I'll level with you, Tony. We had 6, but then I was listening really carefully to the mix, and I couldn't be certain it was a 12-string. So we've gone with 5 for tonight, and they go from the 60s to the 2000s.
Okay, let's go then. Fire away.
Here they are, backwards 12-string. Number 1. This song came out in 1963. It's the main riff, and it's played on an electric 12-string. Number 2. This song came out in 1969, and it's strumming on an acoustic 12-string.
I've nailed that one.
I'm going to think a few
Nailed
people
that
might
one.
get that one. I've got high hopes for that one.
Yeah.
For number 3, this is a song from 1972, and this is big strumming from the elbow in an acoustic 12-string. For number 4, this song came out in 1975, and this is an electric 12-string. It's very low in the mix, and you'll hear a bunch of sort of interference in the mix, and that's actually a clue. So slightly weird one there.
Yeah.
And for number 5, it was a big hit, came out in 2005. The 12 strings really clear in the mix. So I'm hoping everyone has a chance of getting at least a couple tonight.
Yeah, well, it's early doors, but if anyone wants to have a go now, the numbers are the same as ever, 85058, or WhatsApp us 08085 909 693. If you haven't listened before, we will give you another crack at that before we give you the answers, so hold fire and think about it for a while as we explore the world of the 12-string guitar. So let's move to the tunes then, Joe. You're going to take us on this wonderful journey. We're going to start way back in the roots of American folk music. Set this one up for us before we hear it, will you? What's it all about?
Okay, so this is indeed a folk song. It's a Roud folk song number 3421. It's been variously known over the years as In the Pines, My Girl, Hey Girl, Black Girl, The Longest Train. In this version, it's titled Where Did You Sleep Last Night, which is a line from the lyric. It's performed here by Lead Belly. This version is from 1946, although we think the song goes back to at least the 1870s. Some people will know it from the Nirvana version, which we'll maybe talk about after we've heard it. But yeah, let's jump in and take a listen to Where Did You Sleep Last Night by Lead Belly.
My girl, don't lie to me. Tell me, where did you sleep last night? Come on, tell me, baby. In the pines, where the sun don't ever shine. I was shivering all night too. My girl, where will you go? I'm going where the cold wind blows. Where's that, baby? In the pines, where the sun don't ever shine. I bet you all night too. My girl, don't you lie to me. Tell me, where did you sleep last night? Come on and tell me.
Well, I'll say one thing, Joe. It's not happy-go-lucky, is it? It's quite a grisly subject matter, this song.
It really is. There's it's quite a bleak lyric. It's quite a bleak recording, and there are lots of variations on the lyric. It being a folk song, the various stories that are told are a person who goes into the pines and they're either decapitated, or they are just playing away from home, as it were. So one version has the following lyric. His head was found in a driving wheel, and his body ever never be found. So the pines that the person has allegedly slept in could be a metaphor for sexuality or death or loneliness. Most versions include a mention of a train or a railroad, which seems to be a a bad omen in the story. Right. But going back to the 12-string, which is what we're here to talk about, Leadbelly, real name Huddy William Ledbetter, as he preferred to be known, was a virtuoso 12-string player, an African-American, active in the 1930s, 40s and on. And he had actually been imprisoned, and his record company sort of made a big deal of that in a slightly exploitative way. They made him perform in his prison uniform, and it was sort of part of his brand. But beneath all that, there is a virtuoso 12-string player. His 12-string there is tuned down to this very deep, it's tuned down a perfect fourth, so it's got extra thick strings on it, and we hear that do-do-do-dum as he plays the main riff and the chords. But inevitably, Tony, when I do research for the show, you go down a rabbit hole of finding out what's, the history of the songs and so many of the facts about them. And In the Pines, or the various versions of the title that I mentioned, has been recorded by a ton of people. So here's a quick hall of fame of some of the greatest cover versions. This is a version by Dolly Parton, which I think you'll agree sounds very different.
In the pines where the sun never shines, and you shiver when the cold wind blows.
Slightly more upbeat, yeah.
Isn't it? Shortly after the Leadbelly version came out in the early 50s, I think it was 1952, there was a recording by Bill Monroe that helped it to cross over into bluegrass and country. It sounds like this.
In the pines where the sun never shines, and we shiver when the cold wind blows.
So doing the whole train sound there, the cold wind blowing. This is Billy Bragg and Joe Henry, a more recent recording.
In the pines where the sun never shines, you shiver when the cold wind blows.
I also found this slightly weird live version by the Grateful Dead.
In the pines where the sun never shines, you shiver when the cold winds blow.
But actually the most famous version of it, and really the version that brought it to a lot of people's attention in the 90s, was by Nirvana in their MTV Unplugged appearance. And although, as I said, it's a traditional folk song, Kurt Cobain actually credited it incorrectly to Leadbelly as the writer. But what I love about the Nirvana version is that Leadbelly's choice of chords, he goes to this sort of G chord, my girl, don't lie to me, on that phrase. It's a very grunge kind of chord, so I think you can tell why Kurt Cobain chose it. And if you listen to their version, it was like it was almost meant to be a grunge song all along. Here's a bit of Nirvana's 90s version.
In the pines where the sun don't ever shine, I would shiver the whole night
So it's kind of dark.
Yeah. Fantastic, though. Lovely to hear Nirvana. Right, well, okay, so there we are. We're going back in the mist of time. I think 1946 we said there. Let's fast forward 20 years to something, I guess, that completely redefined what the guitar could do in pop music. Where are we going next, Joe?
Okay, so now we're moving from the acoustic 12-string to the electric 12-string. And this is the Byrds in 1966. Their song is 8 Miles High, and the entire guitar solo you're about to hear was played on an electric 12-string.
Among those afraid of losing their ground. Sundown.
Oh, what a fabulous sound that is, Joe. It's psychedelic rock, is that what we call that?
It certainly is, yeah. And it's early psychedelic rock, 1966. So that's off the Byrds' third album, Fifth Dimension. Jim McGuinn, later known as Roger McGuinn, playing the electric 12 there. So you can probably hear the sort of influences they cited were Ravi Shankar's sitar playing. They also cited jazz saxophonist John Coltrane as influences on them. But the combination of that crazy guitar solo that has no rhyme or reason all over the neck of the 12-string with the trippy production, it's very much evokes that era brilliantly, I think.
I'm just looking at some of the facts and figures here. Got to number 24 in the UK, and it was written about their tour of the UK where they said the press were a bit hostile and protective of their own British sound. Do you think that had something to do with it? Were the Byrds big here, Joe, or did they fail to make the mark?
Well, I mean, it was a modest hit over here, I think, but it's they were certainly bigger in the US, and maybe the UK wasn't quite ready for that West Coast sound at that time. But you're right that it was the lyric does indeed refer to a trip to London. We all think of it as this sort of druggy anthem, but the lyric is 8 miles high, and when you touch down, you'll find that it's stranger than known. Signs in the street that say where you're going are somewhere just being their own. And then later it's rain grey town known for its sound in places for small faces unbound. So it's a reference to their London tour. The title, 8 Miles High, it's a mashup of the fact that commercial airliners at the time were known to fly at an altitude of 6 to 7 miles, but 8 miles high they thought sounded more poetic. And also it's a deliberate allusion to another 12-string song, which is the Beatles' 8 Days a Week. And in fact, let me play you a little bit of that. Here's the intro to 8 Days a Week that also contains a Rickenbacker 360 12 electric 12-string. So you can hear that sort of chiming sound that both songs share, but the Byrds, of course, went a whole lot darker than the Beatles on that track.
Yeah, but that blows everything out of the water, that. What a track that is. Right, let's shoot into the 70s now. This song was number one in the States and in the UK. So talk about the track, Joe, before we hear it, and what should we be listening out for?
Okay, so one of the most famous singer-songwriters of the 70s who used a 12-string was the mighty Gordon Lightfoot. So we're going to hear a little bit of his hit from 1974, Sundown. I've selected from the intro to about halfway through. But I've taken the liberty of pulling out the 12-string part. So just before we hear the full version with Gordon singing, here's the extracted guitar part, and you hear Lightfoot's own strumming on the acoustic 12, and then Red Shea, who is the other player, and he comes in with electric guitar about halfway through. So this is just the isolated guitar parts of this track, Sundown. Let's listen out here. Might be able to hear there's a really high note in there.
Yeah.
So that characteristic chiming sound, and you hear it right from the intro and then throughout the song as he plays it. So yeah, let's enjoy a bit of Sundown, and then we'll talk about the bleakness of its lyric.
I can see her lying back in her satin dress, in a room where you do what you don't confess. Sundown, you better take care if I find you've been creeping round my back stairs. Sundown, you better take care if I find you've been creeping round my back stairs. She's been looking like a queen in a sailor's dream, and she don't always say what she really means. Sometimes I think it's a shame when I get feeling better when I'm feeling no pain. Sometimes I think it's a shame when I get feeling better when I'm feeling no pain. I can picture every move that a man could make. Getting lost in her loving is your first mistake.
I like the. I thought I'd recognise it when I heard it, but I don't. But that's from 1974. And actually, I need to apologise. I said both sides of the Atlantic. It was number 1 in the States, but only 33 here in the UK. Tell us about it's another downbeater, is it, Joe?
Well, it certainly is lyrically, and because it's in a major key, I think maybe if you haven't ever concentrated on the lyric theme, you maybe think you'd be forgiven for thinking it was a happier song than it really is. But it's a song of paranoia, jealousy, a troubled romantic relationship, possibly from an unreliable narrator, which we don't hear a lot in singer-songwriter material. So that verse 1 that we heard there, I can see her lying back in her satin dress in the room where you do what you don't confess. And the chorus, Sundown, you better take care if I find you've been creeping around my back stairs. So this is a kind of an aggressive...
It even makes you sound vaguely threatening there, Joe. It's like, blimey.
Maybe it's the late night radio microphone that makes it sound a bit more ominous.
Yeah.
But there's deceit in this relationship. Verse 2, she's been looking like a queen in a sailor's dream, and she don't always say what she really means. So it's never quite resolved in the story what's really going on here, but we're just taking a peek into this possibly unreliable narrator's jealous mind.
Yeah, but another maestro with the 12-string guitar, which is why we're here in the first place. Right, we're going to go into the 80s now. So from what I gather, this track built its reputation being performed live, Joe, before it was released on vinyl or whatever it was released on at the time.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think I'd heard a similar thing. So this is Melissa Etheridge, who played a 12-string, still does play a 12-string throughout a lot of her career, and this is early in her career. It's from 1988. You'll notice when you hear the track that the 12-string. It is an acoustic 12-string, but it has a particular sort of tonal characteristic to it, and that's because it is an Ovation model, and the Ovation company made 12 strings, I believe from the 60s. And what's characteristic about them is that the back of the guitar is made of curved shaped fiberglass instead of wood, so you have a wood front and a curved fiberglass molded back. They call it lycra cord. And it leads to this sound that's it's a little bit thinner than an acoustic, but it's not as twangy as an electric. So the first thing you're going to hear is Melissa Etheridge strumming a very fast D minor on her acoustic Ovation 12 string. So let's hear a bit of that. The song is Like the Way I Do.
Is it so hard to satisfy your senses? You found out to love me. You have to climb some fences, scratching and crawling along the floor to touch you. And just when it feels right, you say you found someone to hold you. Does she like I do, baby? Tell me, does she love you like the way I love you? Does she stimulate you, attract and captivate you? Tell me, does she miss you, existing just to kiss you like the way I do? Tell me, does she want you, infatuate and haunt you? Does she know just how to shock you, electrify and rock you? Does she inject you, seduce you and affect you like the way I do? Like the way I do. Can I survive?
So that's Melissa Etheridge from 1988. So we are about to hear a couple of tracks from the 2000s, Joe, but had 12-string guitar reached its peak at that point then, in the 70s, do you think?
Well, there was a period when you think about it, in the history of pop more generally, when guitars were the main instrument you would hear, and that period was approximately mid-1950s to, should we say, late 1990s. It was a kind of brief window of time when you think about it. So guitars generally were of an era. How often do you hear an acoustic guitar unless it's explicitly by a singer-songwriter or a sort of folky artist in the Billboard Hot 100 or the Global Top 50 these days. So guitars generally, but the 12-string particularly, I think it's fair to say the electric 12-string had a heyday in the 60s. And in fact, we mentioned the Beatles earlier in the electric 12-string. I put together this little montage for you, Tony, of George Harrison had a 360-12, a Rickenbacker, in the 60s, and around the time of the Hard Day's Night and the Beatles for Sale album, he was playing it on a whole ton of their songs as the main riff. Right. So let's pivot to Electric 12 and hear a bit of, because I didn't put a Beatles song in tonight, but I think they deserve a really honourable mention in the 12-string Hall of Fame. This is electric 12-string, George Harrison playing the riff of Ticket to Ride. You really hear that chiminess, can't you?
You had me at George Harrison. This is magic now. Go on.
Well, and famously, an author friend of mine, Dominic Pedler, actually wrote a whole book chapter about this one chord, the Hard Day's Night chord. Yeah. What really is it? Well, it's an acoustic mixed with a piano, mixed with an electric bass, mixed with an electric 12-string, and that chord sounds like this.
It's been a hard day's night.
That's going to be one of the most famous single chords in music history, has it not?
It really has, yeah. It was tempting, someone should write a sample track with it, re-triggering it.
Give you some work in court, that, wouldn't it?
Yeah, they would. They definitely would be litigated. There's a great riff in "You Can't Do That," which the diehard fans will know.
got something to say that might cause you pain.
There's the main theme of Words of Love, which is the Beatles covering Buddy Holly. Electric 12 sounds like this. And the perhaps lesser known track, What You're Doing, also has a very clear Electric 12 riff.
Look what you're doing.
So George Harrison had a phase of electric 12-string playing in about 1964, 65, and then moved on. But it was definitely sounds of its era.
Yeah, they were pretty good, weren't they, Joe? Just for the record,
I think they'll go far. That's my prediction.
I think they'll do well. Right then, now this next track, I've been looking forward to this. It's someone who needs no introduction, but I'm going to ask you to give him one and explain the significance of what we're about to hear.
Okay, so this is. You're going to hear an acoustic 6-string guitar played by the artist, and then you will hear the 12-string come in. So before I tell you who it is or what the track is, here is just those two guitar parts. Here's a bit of 6-string. Here comes the 12. So you can probably hear that 12-string chiminess, that sort of big thickness that it gives to the mix. So this song is from 2002, and let's, funnily enough, the lyrics come from Revelation in the Bible, so let's reveal that it is actually Johnny Cash. This is his song, The Man Comes Around, and it's, unashamedly and very obviously biblical.
It's the four horsemen of the apocalypse, Joe. What are you doing to us tonight?
It's pretty dark, yeah.
I hope the last song's Agadoo.
Well, this was one of the last songs to come out in Cash's lifetime from the same sessions. There were some posthumous releases, but yeah, it's sort of the coming of the apocalypse. When Jesus comes, there will be fire and brimstone and so on. So the verse, the bit we're going to hear, it's basically a talking blues. Johnny Cash was famous for that style. There's a man going around taking names, and he decides who to free and who to blame. Everybody won't be treated all the same. And that's the point. So listen out for that line when it comes. Everybody won't be treated all the same. And then you hear this dom, 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 which is the 12-string overdub coming in to set up the hook, which is, there'll be a golden ladder reaching down when the man comes around. So let's pass it over to Johnny, and he can take it from here.
Okay.
There's a man going round taking names, and he decides who to free and who to blame. Everybody won't be treated all the same. There'll be a golden ladder reaching down when the man comes around. The hairs on your arm will stand up at the terror in each sip and in each sup. Will you partake of that last offered cup, or disappear into the potter's ground when the man comes around? Hear the trumpets, hear the pipers, 100 million angels singing. Multitudes are marching to the big kettle drum. Voices calling, voices crying. Some are born and some are dying. It's Alpha and Omega's kingdom come. And the whirlwind is in the thorn tree. The virgins are all trimming their wicks. The whirlwind is in the...
Well, I mean, that is magnificent for a start off. What was his relationship with the 12-string guitar throughout his life, Johnny Cash, Joe?
Well, he would normally just play 6-string, so that was actually his band adding it in. So here it's very much an additional color added to the mix. So it was the title track from his album American 4, The Man Comes Around, and as I say, that was the final album released in Cash's lifetime. So 12-string isn't something we'd really associate with Johnny Cash. You know, a lot of the big hits, I Walk the Line, are just regular 6-string. But it's just such a nice use of it in that arrangement, and there are 2 or 3 possible players that it could be, because he used various session players on that album. But so it's an overdub, and he's doing that biblical thing. What I really love about the production on that record is that there is no reverb on the voice. It's completely dry, and it has. Because you would expect something so apocalyptic, you know, in the voice of like a preacher character, to be all churchy reverb and echo. That would be the obvious thing to do.
Yeah.
But it's kept completely dry. And then you get both the power of the poetry, but also the sort of old man frailty of Johnny Cash's voice at that age. So it's just a wonderful recording. I recommend people check out the whole thing, and particularly to listen on headphones.
Yeah, his voice is lived in. I mean, that's to say the least. It says here it was inspired by a dream that Johnny Cash had about Queen Elizabeth II, in which she compared him to a thorn tree in a whirlwind. So that's his inspiration for that. I don't know if she was in the video.
So he was on the record saying that, and there are sort of references to that dream mashed up with this Book of Revelation stuff. 100 million angels singing, accompanied by trumpets. So it's very much based on the King James Bible, Book of Revelations, and the coming, as you said, of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse.
Yeah.
Should we cheer things up a bit, Tony?
I think unless it's the conga, Joe, I don't think we're going to manage it. I am actually. If we've time at the end of all this, I'm going to play that again because I love that. Right, no, but let's cheer things up. Let's go straight now to 2023. Who is this, and what are we listening for?
Okay, so the artist is Eslabon Armado. The guest vocalist Peso Pluma, came out in 2023. The song is called Ella Baila Sola. Thanks to Duolingo 101 for me just about getting the pronunciation. The 12-string guitar player is Damian Pacheco. In fact, I'm just going to play a little bit of the 12-string part so you can hear what to listen out for. Okay. He's a fierce 12-string player, so let me just give you that little preview of the guitar part on its own. And then he slides off the fret. The guitar players and the listeners who are guitar players will know, if they've ever had a go with a 12-string, how physically hard it is to play a part like that. But let's listen to the track. For those who speak Spanish, it's the story of 2 guys in a bar sharking and trying their luck on a beautiful woman in the room. And maybe we'll talk about the lyric after we've heard it. So here it is. It's Eslabon Armado featuring Peso Pluma and the song Ella Baila Sola.
¿Qué le parece esa morra? La que anda bailando sola. Me gusta pa' mí. Ella sabe que está buena, que todos andan mirando. tragos sin pero, solo tentación.
Le dije, voy a conquistar tu familia, que en unos días vas a ser mía.
Me dijo que estoy muy loco, pero le gusta que ningún vato como yo actúa. ¿Quién te va, mija? Y por la doble P, viejo.
Así nomás, compa Pedro, puro Eslabon Armado. A las plebitas. No soy un vato que tiene varo, pero hablando
Well,
del corazón.
that, I mean, I sort of thing, I imagine if you see it live, is mesmeric. I don't know about a 12-string guitar. It sounded like he was blowing 3 trumpets at once there, Joe.
Oh, there's a whole brass section in there. It's a wonderful arrangement. So, for those who don't speak Spanish, and with apologies to the Five Live listeners from those who do, I'll attempt to describe the lyric we just heard. So that section was "Compa que le parece esa mora, la que anda bailando solo me gusta pa mí. Bella, ella sabe que está buena, que todos andan mirándola como baila," which sounds maybe more lyrical, especially if someone has a better Spanish accent than me. But the lyric translates as, "Mate, what do you reckon to that girl? That one dancing on her own, I quite fancy her. She's stunning. She knows she looks good. Everyone's watching her. So I go over and chat her up and we have a few drinks, no messing." So it's basically the story of one guy talking to his mate, sharking in a bar. And it's sort of flirty, sort of fun, and came to prominence because it was teased as a short clip on TikTok in the early 2020s. Went viral on the platform just days before it was officially released. Rolling Stone named it Best Song of 2023 and put it on the 500 greatest songs of all time list.
Blimey.
So yeah, huge hit. Made a lot of people happy, that song.
Yeah, well, that's cheered us up at the end. That's all right. That's great. I've really enjoyed that journey, Joe. Thank you very much.
Oh, well, it's fun. I've been meaning to talk about the 12-string on air and looking for an excuse for a while. And so we decided we could probably do a whole show. There's enough history there.
Well, I wonder if it's helped people with the quiz. So what we do now, if you're new to this item, is we'll recap the quiz now. So it gives you basically another 5 minutes or so to have a go. So here are 5 songs involving a 12-string guitar, played backwards so nobody can cheat. And that's pretty much it, Joe.
Let's do it.
Take it away.
So, quiz recap incoming. Question 1. This song came out in 1963. You're going to hear the main riff played on an electric 12-string. Question 2. This song came out in 1969, and the main riff was strummed, or the main rhythm part was strummed on an acoustic 12-string.
Come on, everyone can get that.
I think so. Quite well known, that one. From 1972, this is number 3. This is a very bright, chimey, acoustic 12-string, very heavily strummed. The next one is number 4. This song came out in 1975. It was the title track of a very famous album. And this is an electric 12-string with lots of sound effects. Listeners, there is nothing wrong with your radio. It is only coming out of one speaker. That's very much part of the mix on this one. Okay, so the riff almost sounds the same backwards as forwards.
I'm nearly on the verge of that one.
And finally, this was a big hit, came out in 2005. Very strummy 12-string on this one.
Well, there we go.
we have it.
Yeah. Right. Well, look, everyone's got about 5-6 minutes to have a go at that. The numbers are the same as ever, 85058 or WhatsApp is 08085 909 693. Now, normally some of our listeners get them all right. You never know, this might be the night they don't do it. So even if you've got one or two, have a go. Send in your answers. Let's see who's done it. 85058 or WhatsApp us 08085 909 693. Now, I always love this next bit of the show. So, as I said before, when Joe's not lecturing, he's often involved in court cases where very high-profile artists are arguing over songs and copyright and who's got rights to what riffs and tunes and everything. So Joe every week does like a Soundslike, and often they're suggested by Five Live listeners. So if you've always thought that song sounds like that, just send us it and we forward it on to Joe 85058. So what are we looking at tonight, Joe?
Well, over the couple of years that we've been having the Musicology Hour on 5 Live, actually a few people have texted in about this one because at the time a lot of people were talking about it. So the time being 2009 to 2010, and the earlier song that came out, the one that came out first, was this song, which is TikTok by Kesha, 2009. Here's a bit of that.
Don't stop, make it pop, DJ blow my speakers up tonight. I'ma fight till we see the sunlight. Tick tock on the clock, but the party don't stop. No, don't stop, make it pop, DJ blow my speakers up tonight. I'ma fight till we see the sunlight. Tick tock on the clock, but the party don't stop. No.
So we're listening out for both the top line melody, which is a very sort of heavily one-note melody, da 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 da, and then you've got this bass line. We just grab a piano here. So we've got B flat, C, and D minor. So you got that ascending bass line. So then only the next year, working with the same production team, Katy Perry featuring Snoop Dogg came out with her massive hit, California Girls. Sounds like this.
California girls were unforgettable. Daisy Dukes, bikinis on top. Sun-kissed skin so hot, will melt your popsicle. California girls were undeniable. Fine, fresh, fierce, we got it on lock. West Coast represent, now put your hands up.
So I've listened to these songs thousands of times, Tony, and my students talk about them all the time. So I'd be interested to get your thoughts as someone whose ears are maybe less polluted by over-listening. Yeah. If I play just a bit of TikTok.
Don't stop, make it pop, DJ blow my speakers up tonight. I'ma fight till we see the sunlight.
And then I play California Girls.
California girls were unforgettable. Daisy Dukes, bikinis on top.
What's your take?
My take is the same song.
So you really think it's...
No, it's the same song with just an uplift on the end of the Katy Perry version there. She just takes a different note. But I would say it's heavy. Well, I don't want to libel anyone or be sued myself, but it sounds like Katy Perry's version lent heavily on the foundations of Kesha's version, is what I would say.
Yeah, well, I mean, they certainly sound very similar. And, I sort of chose this as an example because there was no, court action or dispute or anything about that. And something that really interests me in forensic musicology, what is it that we hear that makes something sound similar, and how similar really are they? So if a case like this were genuinely disputed, and as I say, this one wasn't, what we would do is we would compare the actual notes. So going to TikTok.
Don't stop, make it pop, DJ blow my speakers up.
So that riff on the piano, B flat, dum, dee, dum, dun, 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 and California Girls, the riff is this.
California girls were unforgettable.
So we got. So they're different rhythms. They start on different notes. They are in the same key, but there's only 12 musical keys, so the odds are literally 1 in 12 of that happening. And because it's only one bar riff, it's a non-exact similarity. It's, well, arguably 2 bars. There's 2 bars of similarity. The main melodies don't line up exactly. So I find this a really fascinating case study because they sound really similar.
Yeah.
And then when you break it down, almost no notes line up exactly. It's the most bizarre thing.
So there's nothing to see here.
There's nothing to see, even though it sounds like there is something to hear.
And can I say, my right honourable friend, that's what I'm saying as well, just in case there are any lawyers listening.
Well, no, that's the thing. People are entitled to an opinion, and this is how court cases begin. Somebody says, I hear a similarity. So, and in fact, let's just really briefly, I know we're short of time, let's just really briefly play them back to back because they do tessellate beautifully well. Here they are.
Girls were unforgettable. Daisy Dukes, bikinis on top. Don't stop, make it pop. DJ, blow my speakers up tonight. I'ma fight till we see the sunlight. Sun-kissed skin so hot, will melt your popsicle. Tick-tock on the clock, but the party don't stop,
I know it's sometimes difficult to know which one you're actually hearing.
Yeah, it's just the flourishes that are different to me, to my numpty ears, yeah. Well, Joe, brilliant. Thank you. Fascinating stuff. It's all that's left to do now is is put people out of the misery with the quiz. If I don't get number 2, I'm walking out. I think I've got it. But do you want to give us the answers to the quiz?
Yes, let's do that. So, quiz is, there are 5 questions. 1 point for the artist, 1 point for the song. Each is played on a 12 string. So that first riff I played, number 1 from 1963, with the vocal going into the riff, it sounds like this.
Of course it does.
And the song was Every Time You Walk in the Room by Jackie DeShannon. Here's a bit of the chorus.
Funny enough, Joe, I thought that was needles and pins then for a minute. There might be another case
It's a
here.
similar sound. Yeah, very similar.
You could do that next week.
So I think a lot of people would have got the classic that we chose for number 2 from 1969. The person strumming the acoustic 12 was David Bowie, and the song, of course, Space Oddity.
This is ground control to Major Tom. You've really made the grade.
For number 3, from 1972, the artists strumming that big acoustic 12 were the Eagles. The song was Take It Easy.
Take it easy, take it easy. Don't let the sound.
For number 4, that freaky backwards electric 12, forwards would have sounded like this. So a little bit quiet, but it was, of course, Pink Floyd and Wish You Were Here.
How I wish you were here. We're just
And the acoustic 12 that was being strummed deep in the mix there, the artist was Nickelback from 2005, and the song was Photograph.
every memory of looking out the back door. I have a photo album spread out on my bedroom floor. It's hard to say.
So there we have it.
Yeah, well.
Let's find out how people did.
We'll see how they did. They've had all night to think about. They've had a good hour to think about it. I tell you the one thing that's just blown my brains there, Joe. Just random little things that you trot out. In all my life, I did get Space Oddity, but in all my life, I would have sworn it was the 70s, and it was released in 1969.
Yeah, right at the end of the 60s.
Yeah, 11th of July, 1969. I could have sworn that would be 70s. Well, it's been a really lovely journey. Once again, you've taken songs that, some of the songs that we're familiar with and reinvented them for me, which is brilliant, Joe. Thanks very much for your time.
Well, thanks a lot, Tony. That was a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, and we will speak again. See you, mate.
Looking forward to it. Cheers.
Ta-ra.